Most people don't ruin their lives in one big moment. They do it slow. It's always one skipped promise at a time, one skipped morning, one skipped meal, one skipped habit, one skipped workout. Once, okay. Twice, that's a new habit. That is a new way of living. It's like the old saying goes, you don't fall off the wagon, you climb down real carefully. That's why this one rule quite literally saved my life. Don't miss twice. That's the rule. Don't miss twice. It sounds simple, but it's pretty bulletproof. See, my name is Jacob. Welcome to this channel. I own and run a full-time online reselling business. I've owned it for almost a decade now. I've been an entrepreneur my entire life. I make these YouTube videos to provide value and share my perspective on the world. And look, I wake up at 4:30 every morning. It's almost 6 right now that I'm filming this video. But I don't wake up at 4:30 because I'm super disciplined. That is far from the truth. I wake up at that time because I have seen what happens when I don't get up early. Look, I used to be the one who would let a bad day stretch into a week. I would sleep in. I would skip out on important tasks for my business. I would eat junk food, and then, that would turn into a day, and then that would turn into an entire weekend. And before I knew it, I was just floating, slipping, downward spiral. And like an old fence after a storm, I was just barely standing. Then I found this rule: don't miss twice. It's simple, but it's profound, because if you miss one day, today, fine. But tomorrow, you better show up, because missing twice isn't about just skipping. It's about how you form your identity. Skip once and you're human. We're all infallible. But skip twice and you're building a bad habit. It's like there's an old cowboy saying that goes, one nail doesn't just hold down the barn, but start to pull two and you see the roof starting to sag. There's a great book called The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. It's a really good book. It's like the predecessor to Atomic Habits by James Clear. But in this book, he says change might not be fast, and it isn't always easy, but with time and effort, almost any habit can be reshaped. And that is profoundly true. And this rule, don't miss twice, has reshaped how I form habits. And I apply it literally everywhere. Look, if I miss with my business, if I miss a day of listing, I just have to list something the next day, even if it's a small, allotment of inventory. If I eat dirty, if I eat something from the gas station or fast food, well, the next meal, I'm going to eat it at home. It's going to be clean. It's going to be made with simple ingredients. That's just how I apply this rule to everything in my life. If I skip filming a video for this YouTube channel, then tomorrow I'm filming, even if I have bedhead, bad voice, I don't have a lot of energy. It is what it is. It's the rule. It's how I keep that habit, that good habit of progress moving forward, because discipline is not about being perfect, okay? It's about turning the ship back before you drift too far off course. And it's so important. The book Atomic Habits, like I mentioned earlier, James Clear, best-selling author, probably heard of the book. He sums it up so well. Missing once is an accident. It's human nature, but missing twice is the start of a new habit. And habits truly dictate where our life ends up. That line from that book, when I first read that book, it kind of punched me in the chest. It's a super good line, because that's exactly what I was doing. I was turning bad moments into bad momentum. And you know what happens when you don't miss twice? You start to build trust in yourself. It becomes real. You stop negotiating with your emotions. You stop letting letting your feelings have a vote. You know, you stop letting that voice in the back of your head let a vote. It's really, really empowering. You know, there's like this old kind of wise saying that you can't train a mule with excuses. And that goes for your habits too. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not about guilt at all. Like, you should never feel guilty. You should feel grit instead of guilt. You should feel grit instead of guilt, because you fall down, fine, but you get back up with some pep in your step, with some fire. That's the grit we're talking about. Don't feel guilty when you get back up. Get back up with grit. I had a week not too long ago where I just fell back into some old patterns. You know, I would just sleep in, be lethargic throughout the day. I didn't do some prudent things with my business. I just felt like I was kind of floating through the day, no intention. So I actually sat down one night and I wrote, "Don't miss twice" in quotation marks on this whiteboard I have above my desk, literally right here. Next morning, got up at 4:30. Coffee was already brewing. I cleared out an inventory, a bin of inventory. It wasn't much. It wasn't glamorous, but it broke that chain of a habit that was starting to linger in my life. And once that chain is broken, you can start kind of pulling that habit back in your favor again. It's kind of like chopping firewood. You know, when you miss a swing, you know, you just reset your aim, but don't just stand there holding the axe. So many people just wait until they feel ready to start again, you know, and I've been there. But feelings are kind of like the wind. They change. They're not always going to be consistent and not always going to be what you want them to be. It's better to live by principle and by simple rules like this. Stephen Covey, he's the author of Habits of Seven Highly Effective Habits of People, whatever the title is, renowned author. He always says, we become what we repeatedly do. You know, you sow a thought, reap an action, sow an action, reap a habit, sow a habit, reap a character, sow a character, reap your future or your destiny. Here's why this rule works. Don't miss twice. It's forgiving, so it allows for your human nature. You know, you're allowed to be a human, but it's not soft. Okay, it won't let you spiral downward. It lets you miss, but it doesn't let you drift afar. So it's kind of those bumper rails on a bowling alley. When you start living this way, you know, missing once but never missing twice, you build something rare. And that's resilience. Resilience with a capital R. You become the kind of person who may fall short, but never falls apart. You know, you stay steady. And if you're like I have been, in a rut, here's the truth. You are far from lazy. You're just letting one miss turn into two. You're just human, and that's okay. Because if you break a cycle, you know, just show up today, show up the next day. Or, you know, like they say, you can step in the mud, just don't sleep in it. You know, miss once, never twice. That's how I fix my life, one honest day at a time. So hope this video helps. I just wanted to jump on here in the morning before I actually get to the nitty gritty of my day and share this with you, because it's super simple, but it's super profound. So hope this helps. That's what this channel is all about. Just kind of my lived experiences translated into some video knowledge. So we'll leave it at that. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. In the meantime, be good to one another, and I'll see you all again. Peace.